But see, look, think about it this way. So you put all that information in an email, which is public record. I like to think about it this way when I'm typing an email. Would I want the newspapers or local news stations to get that information and blast it across the nation? If the answer is no, then I don't put it in an email.
Don't mock the fucking deaf guy or he'll report us to HR.
Be Lieutenant Murphy.
You've heard that statement made, though.
Yes.
How about the next comment I'm going to go into is, hey, fucking deaf guy. Have you ever heard him just call him, turn up your fucking bell tones?
Yeah, that was the same time frame.
Still, Lieutenant Murphy?
Yes.
No vulgar language?
Not that I heard.
Discussion, okay.
No.
Are we on a fucking riot? And who needs ink and who needs a good idea to be? There's a giant ass fucking printer and the computer where you ready to roll?
If you replace the battery, yeah. The computer would never issue.
Motherfucker. So I can go down and erase that off the board. We fucking know.
We have a
That
new
is-
HR director today. Let's try to stay out of her office for at least the 3 days, right? That
Well,
gets us the whole
well,
week.
Heck, he works for himself.
Isn't that movie?
Jerry's kind of a dick to us, and we were like,
Yeah.
when I go in on second shift, I sit the fuck down. On purpose.
All right.
On purpose.
Okay.
So, gotta smack a shit out of
Way
him.
easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
That's true.
Stupid men.
There you go, you stupid men.
Thank you for giving me the pleasure to speak today. I am for the moment of silence in our schools because I believe our schools and our country is at a moral decline. And I believe the first step is to understanding that we got to look at ourselves and have a moment of silence to pray and meditate to God, so that way we can get our country back on this moral compass. As you heard in the news, I believe a lot of issues happening in schools, such as bullying and child trafficking and sexual abuse, is happening because of a lack of having prayer and moment of silence in school. I was speaking with Senator Bryan before I came up here to speak. I've been bullied my whole childhood because I'm deaf, and I believe a lot of it can be eliminated if we have this moment of silence. You heard in the news last week that Ben Rutain, he was a Norton Middle School science teacher, had a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old girl for the past 5 years. Ben Rutain is 40 years old, and he would Teacher of the Year Award in 2015. I believe if we have this moment of silence in our schools and prayers, it would eliminate and bring conviction upon these people, such as Ben Rutain. Now, I'd like to present that the police department, law enforcement, and school were fully aware of Ben Rutain's trafficking involvement back in 2015. The Franklin County Prosecutor Criminal Division Assistant Tasha Rutain is his wife. The Gahanna Police Chief Assistant is again Tasha Rutain, his wife. And the Grove City Police Assistant is Loy Rutain, his mother. And also Tom Rutain, who is the Grove City Principal, and he is also the Ohio Board of Education Assistant Director. You may ask, how do I know so much about Mr. Rutain? Well, again, I'll reiterate, Grove City, Ohio 2015 Teacher of the Year Award. He was arrested on December 8, 2021 after 5 years of Gahanna Grove City Police Department covered up for misconduct and deleted security cameras inside the police department. This was involved in a Grove City trafficking-involved incident investigation with Rutain. The Grove City chief at the time in 2015 was Grove City Chief Jeff Pearson. After this incident, he transferred to Hilliard, and he's now the professional standards coordinator for Hilliard. Also at this time, Lieutenant Lawless of Grove City, after this trafficking-involved investigation incident, he transferred to Gahanna Police Department and is the chief of Gahanna Police Department. As you should be aware, the Ohio Attorney General, how Attorney General Organized Crime Unit is the Ohio Attorney General's department that combats human trafficking, kid trafficking, and drug trafficking in Ohio. The Ohio Attorney General Organized Crime Unit is located in the Grove City Police Department. The Ohio Attorney General at that time was Governor DeWine in 2015. The law enforcement and school board are protecting the child traffickers and sexual abuse as my friend, Democrat friend, even though we are on opposite political parties. You may have heard the name Burnett Kennedy Kent. I've had many conversations with Burnett Kennedy
Ryan, Mr. Weaver, what does this have to do with the bill?
It has to do with the moment of silence to bring in moral compass so these things won't happen. So, Benedict Kent, in 2019, because of these known incidents with trafficking, she passed a law in 2019 to force law enforcement to be mandated reporters for child abuse, sexual abuse, and child trafficking. You may ask yourself why I know so much about this. I worked for Grove City Police Department, Gahanna Police Department, and Ohio Department of Public Safety. I was the IT system administrator witnessing this in person, and also I observed the videos and records being deleted to cover up phone records, phone logs from the Grove City Gahanna Police Department. In the Ohio Department of Public Safety, the Human Trafficking Group, I was the IT system administrator, the IT system staff for Ohio Department of Public Safety. I reported numerous issues regarding this in August 31st, and was terminated. The law enforcement tip line that I set up in 2014 for Grove City Police Department, which also
Weaver,
the same tip line
Mr.
for
Weaver.
Attorney General Crime Unit, is not anonymous, and IT
Committee will
department,
stand
the
at
police
ease for a
department
second.
can see the call.
We will now be bringing the committee back into...
Do you have permission to contact old employees?
Whatever you want to do as a private citizen, you're welcome to do.
Okay.
If you hold yourself out to be a City of Gahanna employee, the police are going to be knocking on your door.
Yeah, I never once in a year I've asked for any money or anything.
No, but when you come up with solutions that cost money, that's asking. That's when you
What
keep
solution?
bringing solutions up over and over and over again that cost money. If
Name
somebody
one.
says no, everything costs money.
The only solution for that issue with the generator would be to have a big bank of batteries sitting between the generator and the building.
That's the only solution?
That's,
I provided many solutions.
that's the
That
only
costs no
solution.
money.
They're not going to stop doing generator testing. So
I didn't
that's
ask them to stop.
solution.
I've provided many solutions that doesn't. All these solutions doesn't cost any money. It's a change in process, a change in training. It doesn't cost them money.
So if you've presented them and they've been said no, you don't need to bring them up anymore.
Right. I've determined that they're not going to change, and that we'll continue to have this problem, and I'll continue to document it.
You can continue to document it, but you don't need to continue to push that information out to the end users.
So, for example, when the generator went out and Darren Price was upset that he couldn't scan, I shouldn't say, hey, the copier may have been corrupted by the generator. I deleted your profile and recreated it.
No.
Correct. You shouldn't have said that. Right.
So I just say I deleted your profile and recreated it.
Yep.
So they don't need to know cause and effect.
No, they do not. Absolutely not.
But if it continues to happen,
Has it continued to happen?
yeah. It happened to Sergeant Chad and Chief Spence and Terry. their copier profile gets corrupted. I've had to delete it, recreate it, or I had to
Okay, so did you ever power cycle the machine before you did that?
Yeah, sometimes power cycling will fix it.
Okay,
Sometimes you have to delete the profile and recreate it. It depends how corrupted it is. So 50-50 shot, rebooting the PC or the copier works.
okay.
If that doesn't work, I have to delete the profile and recreate the profile.
Then that's what we get paid to do, right? We get paid to troubleshoot those things. Yeah, I mean, we've not had any of those issues here, right?
What's that?
We've not had any of those issues here with this copier. We've not had any issues.
George has. George's been working on it. So yeah, George is aware of it. He had issues with it.
Okay, all right, I'll talk to George about that.
So
Again,
from now on, I will document and just bring it to your attention and not tell the user anything about generators unless they ask.
correct. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
It seems like no one wants to fix the problem. And that's the frustration.
Maybe they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
We're getting a new mayor in January, so I can tell you that there are a lot of things that are going on with the city that are just essentially like status quo, as is, things are on hold, we're not gonna spend money, like, we're just maintaining a level to keep this city running. And that's what happens when you work in a political environment and administrations are turning over. I don't know how many administrations turned over in your prior employment,
Right.
but they have turned over numerous times in all the cities I've worked in. And this is the time of year when a new mayor is going to come in at the end of the year. Nothing happens. Literally nothing gets done. It's just,
Okay.
here's our base.